Hello everyone and welcome to the Pixilart workshop. I am the Deputy Head of Teaching at the Abstract Art Club, and today I'll just be running you through the basics of pixel art. Alright, so today we're going to use a very easy website that doesn't require any sort of sign up or download or payment to use it. You can just go to any search engine and search up pixel art. It should be the first one that shows up, but just in case it doesn't, you can also just always search www.pixilart.com. So you just click on the website and you'll be brought to this page. Now, you don't have to create an account to start drawing. If you want to, just so that you can refer back to your art pieces, that is fine. You can go ahead and do that. But for now, we're just going to click on the button that says Start Drawing. Now, since I already did a piece here, I'm going to have to make sure that it's a new drawing, but for you guys, it should just show up plain like this. So this is the canvas that you're going to be working on. So before we get into the tools, I just want to talk a bit about layers. For those of you who aren't familiar with digital art, layers are basically just kind of like different sheets that you put on your artwork that allow you to preserve what is under it. So the way you can imagine this is if you have a sketch on a piece of paper and you take sheets of plastic and you put it on top of that sketch paper. The result is that if you do something on the plastic, it will not affect anything that you've already done on that piece of paper, right? So if you mess up on the piece of plastic, you can just throw that piece of plastic away and it's history. And you can put a new one down and you can just work on that without having to redo your entire piece. Now, this is convenient for many different reasons, primarily because if you're working with something that is very complex, you can do it in different steps. And if you don't like something, you can just erase it or delete it without affecting anything below it. So layers on this website is in the navigation panel, which is on the right-hand side of your screen. And it's the first option, which is right at the top, and it says layer on it. To add a new layer, you just click on the plus button. As you can see, that has added a new layer. This is my panel where I can kind of see where my layers are. You can delete one by clicking the bin, and you can move a layer up or down by using these two buttons right here that say move layer up or move layer down. All right, so that's going to come in handy later on. So going on to the tools, we'll start with the pencil tool because that's the default, that's selected, and it's also something that's very easy to explain. So what the pencil tool does is it basically allows you to freely draw whatever you want to draw, one pixel at a time. So you can see that here, but you can also increase the amount of pixels that it covers by going down to your navigation panel. Right here at the bottom, there is a section for pixel size, right? So it says a number and it gives you like a cruiser, and you can just increase that. You'll see the number increase. And what that does is it increases the amount of pixels it covers. So for example, if I put that on 4 and I now draw with it, you can see that it covers a lot more space. Next is the eraser tool, which is the exact same as the pencil tool, just that it erases things. So if I increase it to 10, for example, it will now erase 10 at a time. But if I put it down to 1 pixel, it will only erase 1 pixel at a time. All right, next is the brush tool. This is very similar to the pencil tool, just that it's a bit more artistic, I suppose. It kind of gives a flair to your piece of work. So as you can see, when I draw with this, it creates that thick, kind of traditional looking paintbrush style sort of stroke. which has like a little gradient there, which is fun to mess around with if you so please. Next is the line tool, which basically just creates straight lines for you, or diagonal lines, but it just makes a clean line for you, right? Which is great if you just need that structure in your piece. Next up, we have two automatic shape tools. We have the squares tool and the circle tool. Now what these allow you to do is to just click down, drag, create it into, for example, a rectangle or a square, and release, and that just creates a automatic shape for you. That's applicable to both of these tools. And, you know, they're just good to use once you, when you don't want to, you know, try to get perfect shapes by using the pencil tool, which can be very bothersome. Next, we have the bucket tool. The bucket tool basically just allows you to color in large sections of your canvas. So for example, I can do that. At the moment you click on an enclosed space, it'll make that space a color. The important thing to note is that it needs to be an enclosed space. This will not work if you have an open frame, such as, say, for example, this, right? It's not closed there, so the bucket tool won't work. But if you close it, it now has all of the pixels creating a outline, and now the bucket tool will work. This will become important if you're doing something on the side of your canvas. For example, here like this. This is not enclosed, right? The bucket tool will not work on this. You need to make sure that you're outlining the bottom. So you just do it like that, and then you can use the bucket tool to color that in. You can change the colors. Well, you can create your own colors as well, but in the navigation panel, there is a section called default colors. And I honestly don't think you have to make your own colors because of the sheer amount of different colors that they have here. There's really everything. So say, for example, I want a vibrant blue like this, and I can just do that. So it just changes the color automatically to that color. The move tool just allows you to move your board or your canvas around, and it's convenient if, you know, you're trying to look at the composition. Maybe you want to change that, maybe you want to experiment, see how that goes. But the issue with that is if it falls off of the canvas once, then it won't show up again. So if you do it, make sure that you keep it down. All right, next up we have text. Now text is pretty simple. It just allows you to write. So all you have to do is select the text button, click somewhere on the screen, and then you can just start writing. And you can use the move tool. So you just move it a bit. So you can see there it's kind of cut off as well, which is kind of frustrating, but what can you do? Next up, we have the stamp tool. Now this is more for people who just want to make this, who want to use this website for memes primarily. What it allows you to do is it allows you to select from a variety of stamps. So say, for example, I want the glasses. You can just click on that and boom, you have a stamp already. You can change the size of this, the width, and, you know, just insert an image and then put that on top of it. Lastly, I want to talk about the gradient tool, which is quite convenient for backgrounds. So for the gradient tool, you just select it and you have two colors that are right below it. There's a primary color, which you'll know because when you hover your cursor on top of it, it'll say primary color, select to change color, and then there's a secondary color. So you can change these to different colors. Say, for example, I'm going to take red here, and I'll take yellow there. Select those two colors, and those are the colors that the tool is going to make a gradient with. So all you do is you kind of click down, pull, and you can see that that creates a gradient. You can make this steep. So for example, if I do that, you can see that it's very harsh, or you can make it a more casual gradient if you pull it down more. What's important to know is that whenever you click down, like, you'll be pulling the primary color. So as you see here, my primary color is red. If I start here and pull, it's red that I'll be pulling into yellow. So now that you know a couple of the tools, say for example, you want to create a sunset, right? So I'll just show you how to do something like that really quickly. So at a sunset, let's say our sun is setting around here. So it'll look something like, let's choose different colors. So let's say maybe primarily that kind of yellow. You can just mess around with this as much as you like. I think these are a bit too steep, so you can also just use this cruiser as well to just change the tone. So this is basically your colors, whichever color you actually want to choose, and then this controls the tone. So you can just drag that along and get whichever color you please. All right, so now I have those two, and I can just drag these across like that. And just get comfortable with whichever I choose. All right, so now that we have the background, I can go and create a new layer. Now, anything I do on this layer will not affect the background. To select a layer, you just click on it. And now I can start, for example, creating a skyline. Whoops, wrong color. I'll just set that back to black. So yeah, I'm just going to use the pencil tool to sketch out some buildings. You can really just be comfortable with this. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you can always go back and change things if they're not what you want. Say, for example, like that. That's a very unfortunate Burj Khalifa, but you guys get the message. I'm just kind of sketching this out roughly. Say, for example, that's my skyline. Now I want to use the bucket tool, but again, this is not an enclosed space. So what I'll need to do is I'll need to drag it down. It's actually just way more convenient if I up the pixel size, so then I can just kind of do this quickly. Go down, and then you select the bucket tool and you click on it, and bada bing bada boom, you have your silhouette. Now I can add a sun. I'll just turn that down again, and say my sun is that kind of color, right? And you have a sun like that. You can select the bucket tool, it's on the same color. Just click on that and you have a sun. And then you can add details by, for example, clicking on one of these colors, going on the pencil tool, going on one, and then just, you know, drawing windows or something, whatever you feel like doing. You can change the color to represent a differently lighted room, for example. say like those rooms have more light than the others, and then these rooms don't have, don't have lights at all, so they'd be like gray or a darker color, which kind of gives a bit of personality to that building. And yeah, you can just play around with this and get a really sick skyline from it. And then maybe I want to add a stamp or something of a cloud. You can just add that in there. And you already have a pretty good looking pixel art picture. So yeah, that's just the basics of this website. You can save it by going to download and then clicking download PNG. And that's about it. So once you guys are comfortable with this, you can just look around for different websites that do a bit more than this one does. This is just a quick demo on a free one, which is really easy to access. I believe there's also an app version of this, so if you guys are interested in that and want to do this offline, then feel free to do that. I hope you guys learned something and enjoyed this, and you know, feel free to submit some of the pieces that you guys have done to our Instagram, which will be in the description box below. And you know, we might promote your work and put it up if you're comfortable with that. So yeah, I really hope this was fun for you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.